Hey friends, how you doing? Chef Leroy here, and guess what? I am in the kitchen, and today I'm going to do a very interesting dish. Not done this exactly this way before. I'm actually calling it a curry lamb with cabbage, potatoes, and it's a hot dish. Okay, so I've got my pan here for my hot dish. I got to do a little sauteing, so I've got my Thai barang pan here with a tablespoon of oil. And what I'll do is I'll give you a little bit of information on the ingredients. Lamb is right here. I bought some ground lamb. This is 22.4 ounces. Now, why the weird amount, I don't know. But anyway, so this is ground lamb. I'm going to cook it with some vegetables, okay? And here I've got cut up medium yellow onion. I've got a medium green pepper. I've got a medium sweet bell pepper. I used a little orange and yellow. I've got 4 ounces of portobello mushroom sliced, a half teaspoon of dry thyme, and 2 cloves of fresh garlic that I chopped really small. Okay, that's in here. What else I need is cabbage. So in this here, I've got cut up cabbage. I cut it into about 1 to 2 inch chunks. And this is a nice medium size cabbage, head of green cabbage. Also, I've got potatoes. I've got Yukon Golds. I need to peel these yet and slice them, but these are 2 pounds of potatoes. Of course, I need curry to make anything here. Curry. I've got 2 tablespoons of curry. And I've got 2 cups of chicken stock. Okay, so that is the basic ingredients of this dish. So let me get the camera over to everything here, and basically what I'll start doing right now is I'm going to go ahead and start to saute my vegetables and lamb, and then I will work on my potatoes because they need to be sliced up to make the dish. All right, let's get over to the stove and show you what to do. Okay, I'm preheating my pan. I'm going to go ahead and put the lamb in first. And the reason I want to do that is I want to break it up a little bit before I add the vegetables to it. And I'll give you a tip. Best way to do it is to use a whisk. I have right here. And now this is ground, so you can see it already breaks up pretty nicely. Got that broken up. I'm just going to let that, I'm going to saute this just a little bit and then add that vegetable to it. Okay, well, I've got the lamb on the stove. I'm going to go ahead and peel the potatoes. You don't technically have to. You could wash them pretty well, because nice thing about Yukons is they have a nice thin skin. When you're using russets, I would definitely peel them because russet skins are a little bit thicker and they're not as desirable to eat. So, but red potatoes, Yukons are always pretty good for this part here. But I'm going to peel them. Let's make a cleaner dish. Okay, there you go. Okay, we're back over to the stove. Pan's heating up nicely. Okay, just let that cook a little bit more, and then we'll get that vegetable in there. All right, let me show you how to cut those potatoes quick here. Okay, back at the potatoes. So the plan is to cut them into half moons, okay? And just like that. So they're going to be about a 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch slice. Don't go too thick, so you want this to cook well with everything. Everything should be about the same size, at least in the potatoes here. Okay, there you go. Potatoes are sliced. So they're ready for the next step. All right, let's get back to the stove and show you what that lamb is looking like. Okay, here's our lamb. Now, I'm thinking that I'm going to, because it looks pretty fatty, I'm going to probably drain it. I don't want that much fat in there. So, now, having had a nonstick pan like I do, I probably didn't even need that oil, but it is olive oil and just adds a little different flavor to the meat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to strain this a bit. So now instead of sauteing the vegetables in with the meat, I don't want to do that. I'm going to go ahead and drain this out, and then we'll throw the vegetables and saute them. And then we'll just mix everything together, because we're going to saute that cabbage a little bit as well. Okay, let's just let that cook a little bit more, and then we'll drain it. All right, so I let the lamb cook just a little bit more. There's quite a bit of oil in here. Well, it's a lot of liquid, honestly. Looks like a lot more liquid than just oil, but I don't want too much fat. So we're gonna go ahead and strain this out and I'll get right back to you. Okay, I strained out the meat here. It did look like a lot of it was pretty much moisture, but that's fine. Now there's some residual oil left in my pan, so I'm not going to add any additional oil. Let's go ahead and throw those vegetables right in here. So we'll saute this until the onions become clear. All right, let's let it cook. Okay, if you want to give your vegetables a little bit of a jump start, go ahead and hit the cover on top there, and it'll get hot really quick. Vegetables will come out nicely that way too. All right, let's just let this cook and we'll get right back to you. All right, back at the pan, let's go ahead and take the cover off. Give it a stir. Looking good, guys. Smells great. Should be a really interesting dish today. I'm excited. So you don't have to do it like this with the cover. I'm doing it to speed up my process. And if that's what you want to do too, you can just go ahead and do what I'm doing with the cover. Just steams your stuff, just gets it done a little quicker. You don't have to wait as long to get everything put together. All right, we'll get back to you in a minute here. All right, back of the pan. Again, this tie-burning pan, you always want to push your little release valve down. And then when you lift the cover up, make sure you turn that steam, whoops, just steam my camera there. Make sure you let that steam and the water go the other direction from your hands. All right, this is looking great. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my lamb to this. And we're just going to cook it just a little bit, kind of marry those flavors together. Okay, I'll just let it cook for a few minutes here and get back to you. All right, at this point I'm going to add a little bit of black pepper to it. So I got a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. I'll give it a little bit of spice. And I haven't mentioned any salt yet. So I am using some chicken stock, but I think what I'm going to do is add a little bit of salt as well. So let's use a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Okay, there you go. A little bit of a mix. Okay, I'm going to turn my stove off and I'm going to throw this into a bowl. Go ahead and put that back on the stove. Now in the pan there's still some residual oil in there, so I'm not going to add any more oil. I'm going to go ahead and turn that back up pretty warm, and now we're going to add cabbage to it. Cabbage, I don't think I can get all of this in here. So I'm just going to do about half. We'll kind of do this in stages. Okay, again, go ahead and put the cover on top, just like that. Okay. All right, then what I'm going to do is add my 2 tablespoons of curry powder. This is yellow curry powder to my chicken stock. Just whisk it in. That's that there, okay? So I'll set that aside along with my lamb and vegetables, and then we're going to just go ahead and get this cabbage sauteed slightly. I don't need to overdo it, but we're just going to leave that cover on and let it get nice and warm. All right, we'll get back to you in a few minutes here. All right, back at my pan here, and I put all the cabbage in here. You can see here, gotta be a little careful because I'm starting to brown it up a bit, but that's not gonna be a big problem for the cabbage. So just watch your temperature. Again, I don't have any liquid or anything in here. It's just a little residual oil from the meat and vegetables that were in here. And I want to cook the cabbage just a little bit. I don't want to cook it completely because I'm going to bake this as well. But I just want to get it softened up a bit, and then I'll show you how I'm going to assemble this in my baking pan that I have. So let's go ahead and put that cover back on. What I'm going to do, I've got it up at a pretty high temperature, so I'm going to drop it down a little bit to more of a medium high, and now I'll just let it cook a little bit like that. That'll calm that down so it's not browning much. Otherwise, I got everything else staged. The lamb and vegetables are staged. My potatoes are sliced and staged. I actually put them in a bowl of cold water just to keep them from browning up. Yukons don't brown too quickly, but I did that. And then, of course, I got my 2 cups of chicken stock with my 2 tablespoons of curry mixed up. So everything's ready to go. Just waiting for this cabbage to finish up a little bit more. We'll put everything together, get it into that baking pan, and pop it in the toaster oven. So there you go. All right, I'm going to put a little bit of the chicken stock and curry in with the cabbage. Probably going to put at least a cup in there. And part of the reason for that is, number one, it'll steam a little better and get that cabbage done a little bit better without it getting too browned up. but also it'll give the cabbage a lot of flavor so that when you mix all together, it will be super tasty. Okay, we're just gonna let that cook just a little bit more. Now remember, we're gonna be putting potatoes with this, so we don't wanna cook the cabbage too long so that it's so overcooked. But we definitely, like I have a really hard piece right here, you know, so let's break that down a bit. But that flavor now will get within all that cabbage, so it should have a really nice curry taste to it. Cover it up again and just let it cook for a little bit more. I'm gonna probably cook it for about 3-4 minutes here. All right, we'll get back to you in a few minutes. All right, here we go. I'm gonna turn the cover that way a little bit so it doesn't steam up my camera. So after I added that stock to it, I went ahead and turned my stove up just a little bit more just to get it hotter and steam a little better. So the cabbage is still pretty firm, but I think that with the potatoes that are still raw, I think we shouldn't be too bad. But I want to go ahead and just let this cook just a little bit longer. All right, let's cover it back up, and I'm going to let it cook for a couple more minutes and then I'm done. And we'll start assembling our pan. Okay, a couple minutes went by. I'm going to go ahead and take my cover off. All that liquid drain back in there. So we want that. Shut the stove off. All right, now I'm going to bring this over to my counter. I'll show you how to assemble your hot dish. All right, here we go. Assembly time. So I've got the cabbage here. Go ahead and put that in the baking pan. I do have a little bit of pan spray in this. I know this is a pretty much of a non-stick as well, but I like to do that. Just make it easier to clean later. Go ahead and spread your cabbage throughout the bottom. So we're gonna layer this like you would a lasagna. I'm gonna go ahead and throw potatoes down. I had them in a bowl with some cold water. I just took them out of there. Just don't want to brown up too much. Now I may end up having too much of that lamb filling, but we'll see. But you know what? You can use it for another meal. That was my only big concern with the amount of lamb that was. Go ahead and spread your potatoes out. Cover up the bottom pretty good. Actually, at this point right now, I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of my stock to it. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and put some of the lamb and vegetable filling over the top of that. Okay. More cabbage. Okay, potatoes on top. It's pretty full. I'm gonna push this down just a little bit. Try to squish it down. There we go. This will definitely be at the top of one of my more unique dishes I've made. All right, put all the potatoes on there, so that's good. Squish it down a little more again, and let's top it off with some meat. Yeah, I think we'll use all the lamb. Looks good to me. All right, let's put that, spread that around a little bit like that to cover up the potatoes a bit. Not that it totally has to. Boy, I'll tell you what, it smells really good. I'm gonna go ahead and just add a little bit more cabbage to the top. I think that's all I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna add more cabbage. It's just so full that I'm nervous that I might have some boil over or cook over. But anyway, there you go, guys. We're gonna wrap it up with aluminum foil. I'm gonna get it in the toaster oven. I'm gonna bake it for 375, and I'll probably start with probably an hour and a half and then check it. That's what we're gonna do. Let's go ahead and I'll set my toaster oven. There we go. Whew, man, that was good work. I'm excited. All right, I'll pop this in the toaster oven and we'll see you guys in an hour and a half or so. Let you know how it came out. All right, my oven is preheated. Put that right on that top rack there. And there you go. All right, see you in about an hour and a half to check it, and don't know that it'll be done completely. But okay, so an hour and a half has elapsed, and I'll tell you what, it smells flippin' awesome. Pull it out, and I'm gonna move it over to a pot holder I have over here, and then we'll take a look at it. But smells really good. Just want to make sure that potatoes are tender, so that's what we're looking for. Okay, let's give it a check here. I want to be careful not to damage the foil in case you have to put it back in. You don't want to have to pull a whole nother piece of foil out. Oh my gosh, look at that. Woo-hoo-hoo. All right, let me grab a spoon here. So we're just looking to check the potatoes, and they're pretty soft here. Oh my gosh, that looks great. It's a good amount of liquid in there. So I would say that serving this with a nice piece of bread would be a great idea. Now, I'm not ready to eat yet, so I'm going to go ahead and put the aluminum foil back on, and I'm going to put it back in my toaster oven. I think I want to just cook it a little bit longer. I mean, the potatoes are seem tender. Gosh, it looks so good. And I don't have much salt in this at all, by the way. As you've seen, I only use about a quarter teaspoon of salt. So I might have to give some salt to it at the table. All right, well, there you go, guys. And what I'll do is I will post a photo of this, or I can even, videotape me dishing this up so you can see what it looks like when it's going into a dish. But there you have it. So $3.75 for an hour and a half is pretty much right on the money. I think if I was going to do anything else, I probably would do it, maybe for an hour and 40 minutes. But I think that if you keep it covered like this, those potatoes will finish off nicely. All right, so if you guys like the video, hit the like button. Also subscribe if you haven't subscribed up to this point. Subscriptions just let you know when I've dropped a video out there. Again, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making this dish. I'm so excited to eat it, honestly. I love curry, and this is kind of a completely unique dish that I hadn't done before. I had been thinking about it for a while, and well, here you go. This is the outcome. You guys have a great day. Chef Leroy, and out.